Warning. The following video contains spoilers for the inner workings and behind-the-scenes processes of the Project 863 series. If you do not wish to be spoiled on future or past videos, nor have the spell of the series broken, you have been warned. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Behind 863 podcast.
Welcome.
I'm
sorry.
What an intro.
Clip it! Post it everywhere, please.
This is the second time.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
It's
I
just
can't
something
control
about
it.
the nerves of
I
just
know. I'm
talking.
so nervous.
So this is going to be a shorter podcast slightly. Main reason why is before this, we wanted to make sure, because for the last 14 episodes, we were having some issue with audio. Like, you guys might not have noticed a huge thing. I'm hoping it's much better now, but there was just some audio stuff with compressors. It was a whole thing. Too much to explain right now, but essentially it was making the audio quality really bad on these really, really good mics. So we had Mike come in and help set this all up. So it's going to be a little bit of a shorter podcast, but hopefully this is the start of things sounding much, 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 much better. And also it came from we're using different recorders and stuff than we were used to when we set it all up. So we didn't know all the settings, all the functionalities. It took all of us playing with it a lot to know where certain things are, to where in case it just turns off, it doesn't delete everything, which is what happened. It turned off once and didn't save any of the settings. And so life sucks. But now it is fixed, and now it is high quality, and now it is clear, and it's content full. And today we're going to be talking about a few different things. I have some comments from the videos. If you guys want me to read your comments, you guys should comment on either the thread. Sorry, I had to Sam it up.
Sam it up.
You should either comment on the thread that I'm posting this on Spellbound, or comment on the video on YouTube. You know what I'm saying, of this, because I want to read your guys' comments as well. But I like to go through, whenever we release an episode of Project 863, I like to go through and read some of the comments what people have to say. So I think they'll be fun to talk about. But I also first would like to talk about what was shooting the video that just went live, which was the one where I just watched it. Why am I blanking? I'm thinking of what we shot last week.
Whispers in the Walls.
Mm-hmm.
Whispers in the Walls. Yes, we shot but that was the first half that came out of the Whispers in the Walls, right?
The second half.
First half.
The first half.
This was
It was the first half.
We shot the second half last week.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The video that just went live was the very beginning of us hearing things in the walls.
Yes.
It was when we first saw the theory to
Right in the mic off.
yeah, right in the mic.
Bro, I didn't even think twice.
Yeah, I know he went.
Sam's talking. I'm fine. I'm so sorry.
No, you're totally fine. Yeah, it was a fun one. It was interesting only because when you're working with voices in the walls, sometimes voices aren't they don't know their cue sometimes to start speaking to us.
Oh, the voices.
No, it's just sometimes that's hard. But it was when you're relying on practical effects, sometimes it's meeting reactions. Sometimes it's sometimes it's hard to get the practical effect and the reaction that we've built up cinematically to happen at the same time.
I liked it though.
So there's a little bit of it happened.
In the moment, it felt weirder than it was when watching it.
Oh
I
yeah,
will say that.
in the edit, it all worked out.
In the
Yeah.
moment, we're this is taking a second.
Yeah,
Wait, are we not revealing the voices?
Well, so we can't
Yeah.
The process?
I'll kind of
know.
lay the ground, and then you guys walk through it, right? So the beginning of the episode, right, was Matt doing his whole vlog situation, comes in after the interview he did with B27.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I'm blank and blacking out. Too many things to remember in my head. Did the interview with B27, and he came to you guys, showed you guys the interview, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's when he was revealing it to you two. And then after that, that's when you guys are oh, we should start listening to the walls. And so this is the very rough beginning where Matt's I can listen. And he sticks his ear up against the wall, looks like a clown. This guy's gonna hear something like that. I thought that was so funny when he did it live. And then in the cut, he kind of played it when he did it live, he didn't do it as serious, but in the cut, it came off serious, where he was I'm going to listen to the wall. And I was with your ear? And he's guys, can we just be quiet? And he said that in the cut, and I was oh. That
And
came
then
off
the
intense.
cup.
Yeah, and then he's let me get the cup. I was yeah, this is going to work.
You can hear
yeah, you
things.
can-
The
you can do
cups
that.
work.
The cups, and it did. I look like
You listen through the like a door or a wall, listen
Yeah.
to other people's conversations.
Yeah, and I didn't.
Yeah,
I thought that was
okay,
clowning, to be honest.
What would you use it for?
Well, no, just you sound like you've had experience
Well, have you
listening
seen
in
King
on.
Kong?
You what?
Have you seen King Kong?
Yeah. Which one?
King,
Wait,
like,
your experience of this being true is from another fictional movie?
It's from watching it in another fictional movie.
no, I mean I've tried it after seeing
yeah.
this. Yeah.
Have you
know
tried it
that-
here at the office?
No.
Would
no,
you?
Not yet.
Okay.
Besides,
Whose
No.
wall
The episode.
intrigues you the most? Whose wall would you use? Who would you put a little cup on?
mine is Young's for sure.
Uh-huh.
There's no way it's just like accounting in there. I can't even believe it.
There's no way. It's just
What
a
music
count.
does she listen to, you
Oh,
know?
I thought you said just counting. I was like, you think Young just counts them?
That is her
One.
job, you know.
Yeah, that's what
All right.
accounting is like.
Yeah.
One.
So we're going to count
two.
profits last month. 1, 2, 3.
Start from number one. Dollar number one.
Number one.
Has no clue what accounting is.
Anyways,
No, what?
I was referencing King Kong because Jack Black in it. You know, he's the filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that one.
He uses it to listen into like the producers or whoever is funding this expedition,
Uh-huh.
and he's in the the waiting room, and so he dumps his cup of water and he listens in, and they're like about to like shut it down, and so he's like, all right, let's pack up, get on the boat before they come out and tell us we can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so if it wasn't for that cup, the movie wouldn't have happened.
Oh.
I just do love that your logic still for
It's
like the
from a
fact.
fictional
it's
movie.
from a fictional.
Well, I tested it out.
No,
Works.
oh no.
Yeah,
Great.
That's what we wanted
great.
to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny. Like, how do you know it's true? And you're like, this fictional
Well, I
movie.
didn't
Think
move
of it.
Jack
Have
Black.
Oh,
you guys ever played around with the cup and the string?
Oh yeah.
That
That's
does
the
work,
same
yeah.
science.
Yeah, no. I totally trust the science. I just think conversationally it was very funny that we asked you how you knew that the cup worked.
Oh, yeah.
And you referred to a fictional
Kong, yeah.
piece
Instead of
of
just
work.
being like, oh, I've done it before. I'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Like, that's good
Oh, I
to
got to
know.
give you some backstory. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I like
Fair idea.
the reference to the movie was good. I was
Didn't
just
want
like,
you to have any questions after.
he's like, I know after I tell them, they're going to ask, well, where did I get that information
Yeah,
from?
exactly.
So I'm going to start it where I got the information from, and I'm going to tiptoe back to the beginning.
yeah.
So,
Well,
anyways.
Yeah.
So
So,
that-
It's making me
oh,
cry.
wow. Are you okay? What?
So the episode then goes into you guys listen on the walls, don't hear really anything through the cup or the ear yet.
I can't hear anything
Or
through
the
the logs.
ears.
Sam can't hear it through the static, which I thought was like I thought that was gonna be the one thing that would be playing awkward is when we could eventually like so Woods then makes the stethoscope thing that I made fun of in the episode, which I thought was really cool and funny
Pissed me
too.
off in real life.
Yeah.
Oh, did it really?
Wait,
It offended
what?
you? Oh.
No,
No, there's no way you can offend this kid in real life. And then we tried to play it like that's where the bit of the delay was with like waiting for the voices to work on time. Everyone's like, okay, I put it in, and then like Woods is meanwhile trying to like
Dude,
make it work
yeah,
on his phone.
So a real life. Okay, I guess we're gonna talk about that. Yeah, Bailey pointed out to me that like she was watching the episode, and she's like, "Yeah, I can see you in the corner like playing with your phone." During the episode.
And I saw a couple comments that were like, I can see Woods pressing play when the voices start.
I literally was thinking that as I'm
I-
sitting there on the couch. I was like, I'm like looking at Woods. I'm like, man, I hope this isn't in camera range.
Well, because it's funny because, you know, we're
Oops.
hearing voices in the walls. And then, like, while, like, Matt and I are scared, like,
Just on
listening.
Twitter.
Yeah. It's just, like, on
He's
his
just
phone,
on his
like,
phone.
just, like, not even. It looks
Woods'
like he's not paying
reactions
attention.
were prime though, dude. You had the most normal reaction ever. Like not in like a bad way of like, wow, this is too normalized. It was like for instance, like Matt kind of would go from in and out of being like, what the heck, to then like back to goofy normal Matt, you know, where so he was kind of like back and forth.
Yeah,
Woods is
yeah.
just like constantly at this, and he like listened. He went, whoa, like his normal like giddy laugh, and I was like, wow, that seemed like the most
I
Woods
appreciate
thing ever.
that.
Like that was pretty authentic, dude.
I'll say that
You got me
like,
buying it.
half my effort was going to like, how do I hide this? and,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
play
Mhm.
this.
You didn't have time to think about how.
Yeah,
to
that's
I
good.
wasn't
yeah.
thinking about it. Yeah, maybe that's why it turned out nice. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
probably.
Yeah.
I have a question for you guys, actually, and let me know if you're not allowed to reveal this
Okay.
yet. What was the purpose of only static coming through the lobs?
Well, basically, so what I can say here is we wanted to run into a hiccup so that we could ask Mike to come help us.
Okay.
So we kind of needed a barrier of like, what's happening?
okay.
Like we can't hear things. So
Interesting.
Like,
Yeah, I was just wondering
let's bring
what
in
the
our
logic
audio
was.
guy to like help.
Gotcha.
So
okay.
think of it more as just like, you know how like, you know, writing meetings you were a part of, there's like, we want conflict in it.
Yeah, makes
an
sense.
example of that.
Cool. Yeah.
We
I
should have had
was
Mike on
curious.
the phone, to be honest. We should have had him like pressing play.
Yeah,
or
I think
something.
he walked in to help. That's why he walked in that door, is because I think he was gonna actually like help out with it. And then we were like, he's like, "Hey, you guys need anything?" Like, and we're like, "No, we're just doing this." He's like, "Okay," and just kept walking forward. I was like, "Nice." Mike has that fun entry, you know. Like, so yeah, then that happens. So then you guys pull out the stethoscope. You guys start hearing things. Doesn't work through like technology, right? And then cut to. I think the last scene is when you guys are up where the body is at and you don't hear anything. And then you guys just put like regular ears up and then it's like booming, you know?
Right.
And that's where it cuts.
Yes.
And then Matt's like, it's a voice or it's code. He says it's code.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not too worried about talking about this because we've already filmed the next 2 episodes, I feel like.
We've
next
only
one.
filmed the one
right after.
Yeah.
And so I think that
where we get Mike involved.
cool. And so I feel comfortable talking around Bailey with that because that's any resolution on that episode she already knows, which is good. But won't go any further in like anything else, right? So as long as we stay in the containment of this episode, we're fine. But yeah, I thought you guys did a really awesome job. I want to know what your guys' thoughts were on shooting that. Bailey, you naturally went in dark. I personally, like when I was shooting it, I was curious to see if the things that I was noticing, like that would be issues, would play as issues through the video. And
Such as
one was I was like seeing Woods hit the play button, but like I knew he was the one doing that. So I was like, I wonder if they're going to catch it on camera. When I was watching, I didn't think to look over once.
Yeah.
So-
it's not like a top comment or anything. It definitely was like,
It was like
you know.
1 or 2 people.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because I was also just shocked because I watched the video like 3 times and I was like,
That's
we're
so
good.
funny. No,
and like
I
obviously Quinn didn't catch it either.
Yeah.
But, you know,
I was
going
gonna say something because I noticed it like the morning of, but I was like, I don't even know if it's worth saying anything because like we gotta upload it. But
it slips.
there's like one part where like I think Matt couldn't hear anything, and it's because there was a technical issue. And like I look over at Woods doing it, and I'm like, because I'm like, I know that Woods is doing it, and so that's like the one part where I'm like, oh, I kind of gave him away in that
Oh, I
moment.
see.
But yeah, not a lot of people notice. So
And then the other one was putting up the the headphones, the stethoscope earbud things to the microphone. I was curious how naturally they would make the static go in and out relative to the position of the microphone.
interesting.
Like for instance, like the one thing I thought was kind of clunky is Matt just went like he didn't like position the stethoscope headphones like earbuds at all. He was kind of just like next to his headphone and then it's like cut it super loud. Not super loud. It cut in like you could like clearly static, you know?
Yeah.
And then like, but it cut away super naturally. So I thought that was really good. Honestly, I was like, oh, the fact like the time of it cutting in and out was like kind of like really, really good. Like
Yeah.
really perfect. But I did think my first thought was like Matt just smacks these up against, and all of a sudden we can hear the static of these little stethoscope things. I was like, that seemed a little movie magic-y, but
Yeah.
those are the only 2 things I noticed where I was like, oh, this is like, I wonder how this is going to play out.
Yeah.
And they played out pretty
Honestly,
well. No one really commented that at all.
Yeah, my biggest fear with it was that the audience was going to be pissed that they couldn't hear it. Like I thought maybe the audience it was just going to be like, why can't we hear anything? And like
Yeah.
it's almost like kind
why?
of like kind of like a I don't know. The whole episode is just them like listening to static, and I thought maybe they would be upset by that, but like it seemed like there was a really positive
They
response.
embraced
Yeah.
it. They're like, this is
Yeah.
realistic because you wouldn't be able to hear it. you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and that was obviously a nice thing to see too, because I had that thought while we were filming it when we were talking about like what the audience would hear kind of like after the fact too in the post world of things, and I was a little nervous that that some people would be kind of like, okay, so we just watched you guys experience
Exactly.
things and we didn't really experience it, but it seemed to kind of go over well. And I think it's also because they likely know that like eventually they will likely hear some form
It's
of
important.
what it is, and like
Yeah.
or we'll be able to like share that with them or convey like what's happening.
Like there's a reason for it.
Yeah,
There's a
exactly.
reason for you guys not being able to hear it,
Yeah.
or the camera not being able to hear it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I also feel like it was such a good natural break of like when we were upstairs, like the "you're not listening" thing. Sam makes the joke of like the irony. I thought that was funny, and then it cuts to like, which is like, oh, I have like the stethoscope and stuff like that, and Matt's like, oh, go get it. You know, Wood's gonna go get it right now, and Wood's like, it's gonna be like an hour.
Yeah.
I thought that played so well because it
Yeah.
really gave me like, oh, like. In the moment, I was like, an hour. I was like, what's this kid talking about, you know? But then it's like, oh, no, he's going to go, like, build this thing.
Yeah.
Like, and-
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty good. Like, I thought that really, like, helped the believability, too, because then you show up and everyone's like, all right, like, an hour later, and it feels natural.
Yeah.
My
Another
only
question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So my only question, and yeah, my question would be like, if we can't hear it through the camera mics, why could we hear it through the hearing aid mic?
What hearing
What do
aid
you mean?
mic?
Because it's a hearing aid and not just an audio mic.
What hearing aid?
Well, that's what I made the
the thing that
stethoscope and
Wood's rigged up. Like, why could we hear it through like
I
this
honestly don't
device
know.
against
How
the
does
so-
the
wall?
I see
stethoscope
what you
even
mean.
work?
and so that's where I think we have to wait a little bit before we say anything on that, because I think it is something that I can't talk about in front of Bailey.
Oh,
But
That's a good question
I
for
wanted to
everyone to
see if
have.
there was another answer involved, but there's not.
We can wait on it. Better safe than sorry.
Yeah,
But that brings up the point. I don't even know how a stethoscope works, to be honest with you. So I don't think anybody like
it
really
works like a cup against a wall.
Is that really?
does. Really?
So it's like a. It's gonna
no,
way
I,
better of an
no, I want to
explanation.
hear what you
She
say.
Googles it. It says works like a cup
Because
against
I had
the
to
wall.
take it. I had to take it apart, right? And it's almost like a hollow drum, right?
You ready?
Yeah.
The disc and the tube of the stethoscope amplify small sounds such as the sound of a patient's lung, heart, and other sounds inside the body, making them sound louder. Okay, thanks. The amplified sound travels up the stethoscope's tube to the earpieces that the doctor listens through.
They didn't
They're
even know
not
either.
even sure.
so
either.
they,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
one knows.
Well,
It
it's
uses its
basically your
components.
explanation.
Yeah.
Cup against a wall.
It's like if you put a cup against a chest and you could hear the breath, like
Did you
Jack
agree with that
Black in
too?
King Kong.
Did you like my medical robot voice?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
were
So
solid. You had that good Syntech AI vibe
Yeah.
to you. That was
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
clean.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Bailey, what was your question?
My question was, what made you think of that device? Like, why a stethoscope with earbuds through it?
It was like what we had.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
well,
also,
so
like it was how I was able to. It was how we were able to like, you know, show you the noise. Not show you the noise, but
Like
yeah,
Reveal
without
the
like
noise.
yeah, without like
It's
'cause
how
we,
without putting a.
without just like playing it like for us it was a very contained way to be like how
that's
do we let Bailey practically hear this on the day so that Bailey just doesn't have to like pretend that she's hearing
wow,
something.
I'm honored, guys. Thanks for
Right.
putting that together
Yeah.
for me.
Well, yeah, I
so
mean,
can
we
hear.
can't like we're trying to keep you not. We're not trying to keep you out of the story, but we're trying to keep the mystery
Stay
up,
up.
right? But like we can't just be like, hey, this is the noise that you're going to be responding to.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's rig
it-
something up. It was
it
a
helps you guys too,
workaround.
though, because you're at that point you get to method act because you're hearing something live. You
You
know,
know, we
it's
get
like
to add beats too.
yeah, it's like yeah, it's kind of like you're just like you put it up there. You are actually hearing something through there, right? So it's not like you have to whoa, but because it helps too. I realize in some of the reactions where like you guys are both reacting like when you should. You know what I'm saying? Like like two people would hear like something at the same time. Like I can't remember how you guys did it. I know one time it happened without the stethoscope. It was just the ears. I thought this was a seller for sure. When you guys were up above the body thing, and Woods and Bailey both had their ears like against the wall,
Yeah.
and they both jumped back at the same time. I was like,
True.
like how'd you guys time that? Like, did someone
Yeah.
tell you? Like,
Oh, the noise the voices in that wall.
I mean, maybe we don't answer that, but like that's something that I think helped the believability is you reacted normally. I feel like it didn't feel like you were just like, whoa, whoa, you know, it was kind
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
searching for it. Like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like if you were to hear something like it takes a moment to process before you react to it, you know? So, like, I feel like if you're acting it, you would hear it, and if you were pretending to hear something, you immediately would react to it because you don't think about the processing part of it. So
Yeah.
yeah, good work.
That's
Good
true.
stuff.
I thought
Yeah.
it was a good episode.
Yeah. And I always love it when our shoot days are just like simple in studio. Sometimes like it's just like, all right,
Yeah.
That was
let's
another
knock this
thought.
out of the park.
That was another thought I had for sure. Was like it was super contained episode. It was like
Yeah.
matches up to studio. You
Yeah.
guys look at Reddit. You guys go from
Yeah.
Reddit to listening to Walls. You guys find a tool to listen to Walls more.
It's an
Done.
adventure
Yeah.
in the studio.
It was
Yeah.
natural. And I was
Yeah.
watching.
And
And this feels paced.
That's good that it like felt that way in post too. But we're also trying to like streamline our production a little bit more right now. And like last week we did the shoot within 2 hours, and like that's how it should be basically. So like the
Even
goal
with complications.
Yeah, even with some complications. So
It's a
the
fast
goal
shoot, too,
going
yeah.
forward is to try and like, all right, there's sometimes, especially if it's in studio, like there's no reason our videos should take longer than 2 hours to film. Just like practically with like the beats we have and the stuff we're doing and like, you know, how prepped we typically are. It's
Right.
like, it really shouldn't take longer than 2 hours. So going forward, we're going to try and keep that and like be like, all right, we got 2 hours on the calendar. Let's knock it out in that time.
Yeah.
So hopefully it works.
Heck yeah. Sorry.
Cool.
I'm having like a carbureted drink.
There was something about like throwing
Carbureted.
your head back with it.
My drink is carbureted. I said
Yeah.
that out
Carbureted.
loud.
Oh, dude, he's got a Zevia carburetor.
Dude, it's taut, dude.
What's
gonna-
next,
I'm
Tanner?
just gonna read some comments to you.
Cool.
Okay, yeah,
That's
just
These are
But-
some that I thought were
No
do
mean
it.
ones.
Do it
Tanner.
in an audiobook voice.
Some of them don't. I can't use an audiobook voice.
Why not?
Because some of them like quotes. It's a whole thing. I'll do
okay,
whatever
no,
I
do
can.
do your thing.
I'll make it
sorry,
interesting.
you go for it.
I'll make it interesting.
Create your vision.
I'll make one of them an audiobook voice.
Okay. I'm ready.
This comment was from Zapper, and I thought this was a fun one. Can we
From
talk about
Zapper?
how I'll talk like how I imagine Zapper's talking? Can we talk about how everyone is terrified and Woods is like, I hear voices all the time. This is not new. I fear nothing. And
Did you say
got
that,
a bunch of
Woods?
likes. No, he didn't say that, but I think that's the vibe he gave off because multiple people commented that. They're like, Woods just like
Doesn't
Woods
care.
just like hears the voices and was like,
Is that a good thing?
yeah. They're like Woods is totally a mood, man. Like this
Yeah.
kid's like nothing scares this kid.
I mean, it's
because I was trying to play it.
I think it's so funny how like Woods does something that like technically isn't necessarily a good thing, but people are like, I love Woods.
yeah, like, well, no, that's a great point because maybe like in person, and I'm not saying that like I felt this way, but like there is a world in which like someone like either Matt could have been like, hey Matt, hey Woods, like play it up a bit more. But like in hindsight, the audience is like, we love that like there was one person that just like
Didn't care.
has reached this level of acceptance that
It's
he's
so
just like
realistic.
I
You didn't
don't
play that up.
I don't care.
It would make no sense if Sam did it because Sam plays
Oh, yeah.
things
True.
up.
Yeah.
But like
It goes
Woods
with your character.
I
Woods.
am up.
Woods
I
can be
don't like play it. I just am here.
kind of just apathetic sometimes. He's just like, whatever, you know? He hears it, he's just like, yeah, man, that's a voice.
I was just focused on something else.
It hit.
No, own the character choice.
Aloof. Casual.
Yeah.
This
Woods.
comment made me excited for memes that could come out of this episode,
Ooh.
which is it's them asterisks, them listening to Wall. I can't read over this microphone. It's too high. I wish I could make it small.
Hold your phone
There we go.
here, pal.
Sorry, I don't want to cover everything.
Oh, you're good.
Them listening to the Wall to see if they hear anything. The Wall, we've extended your car's warranty. I thought that was funny. I was like, somebody should
That's
really
good.
take the memes of like Matt like secret, like kind of like sneaky putting his ear up against the wall, and it just says something back. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
A lot of meme
Clever.
potential there.
Meme potential. Guys, make it happen.
I want to see memes. Put random little voice blips there.
Wall memes. Okay.
Wait,
like a
the
j-
voices that you guys did, was that something that you produced or like Mike produced, or was it like just a sound that you found online?
You will
You will
see.
find out.
Can't say anything. You're asking too many questions that are technical.
Oh, yeah.
Asking all
future
them
things.
questions.
Disregard my response.
Did you say anything?
I don't think
No, I
so.
didn't.
Okay. Well, it's a good thing he
I didn't
talks
hear
quietly.
it. Yeah.
That's,
I
Anyway.
was also yawning while I was saying it.
you're like, oh, well, here are all the secrets.
This is from Hulk 55. These vids have been really interesting lately. I mean, they're always interesting, but seeing how you guys come on with solutions is amazing. And the reason I brought that up is because I think that's kind of like a cool little, it's a cool little place where I think it's at now, like the channel's at now, where it's not so much about like this hyper realistic, like scary almost type of thing that's happening, and the whole world's like, what's going on? It's kind of like, I think when I'm watching through it now, the vibe I'm getting is like, it is exciting watching you guys put these pieces together, like putting them together, like trying to put them together in your own head, but it's satisfying to see someone else put together the pieces that you are putting together at the same time, you know?
Interesting.
It's like, I think about it because I watch a lot of chess, right? I think it's the same way of like, when someone's playing chess, I find it really satisfying to like, okay, what would I do? And then like I say something, and then someone who's really good, like, you know, like grandmaster at chess, who's like, I'm gonna do this because of this reason and this, and then they end up doing this, and then like it's like satisfying watching someone just like connect the dots to get an answer that's really good.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a good point. Is like, yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. It's like the channel feels fun to watch you guys like
Put pieces together.
Yeah. I mean, the way I feel is like, because I'm still out of the story, it feels like a lot of you guys are kind of trying to lead me to draw the conclusion, and at the same time you're like kind of leading the audience that way too. Like in this past one, I feel like, you know, Matt finds the comments in the YouTube community, and like I eventually was like, so do we put our ear against the wall? Like, and so like, you know, eventually I was the one who came up with the solution, which is what you guys wanted to do ultimately. So yeah, I think it's kind of like a natural way of also letting the audience come to that conclusion too.
Yeah, it's kind of like, and this is gonna sound super dumb,
Say it.
but think of it like like the adult. It really feels like an adult, mature, more like hidden, mischievous kind of like Dora the Explorer.
I knew you were
Oh,
going to say that.
yeah.
I was waiting for you
Right?
to say
Doesn't it kind of feel that way? It's like
Yeah.
it's like, oh, they should check this, I think. And then you guys check it and they're like, oh, now what's gonna happen? And like you guys kind of like reveal this new thing, and then all of a sudden everyone's minds are like, I gotta figure this out. It's not as like dumb as like a kid where like, we gotta go to Moaning Mountain. I don't know why I came up
I'm sorry, where are we going?
Moaning Mountain.
Moaning Mountain, but we gotta get through the
Charlie the
slithery
Unicorn.
swamp and
Yeah,
across the
I
road.
know.
It's
No,
not like-
you're totally right though, and I
Am I right?
I think that's a format that we've leaned into, but like that's why Subject 4 exists.
Yeah.
is so that we can use them to help us solve things, engage their interest in certain clues, engage their direction of the story.
It's very much a
And-
story for you.
Yeah, and it's also how we can discover new plot points, is like we put it in the hands of Subject 4, of the person watching Dora the Explorer. Like instead of trying instead of asking if like they see Swiper anywhere, it's like, yeah, let us know if there's anything we missed. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think B27 said? Like, it's not.
It's like authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like, is Swiper nearby? And then Swiper's bouncing around, and then you're like,
Where?
did you say he's right there? It's kind
Yeah,
of like, no,
yeah.
you end the episode of like, we need this information, like where this is what's going on. In the middle of the episode, you go and ask for the information, but you actually get real information back from the audience. It's like brilliant. You're like,
And we
"Dang,
bring
this
it
is so
into
dumb."
the story, and
so
it's like, because yeah, exactly like Bailey, we were looking and we were waiting for a comment to say, listen to the walls,
Right.
Like we knew we needed to get there, but like we also knew what we wanted the audience to say, so
Yeah.
we just waited for them to come to that conclusion, and then got that plot point, and we're like, okay, cool, we
Nice.
got it, let's carry on.
Yeah.
Like,
It's funny. It's funny how it always, someone always ends up saying it.
We
Yeah.
do also
Thankfully.
gauge your reaction in hopes that we can like figure out what the audience will.
Oh,
think
my
of it.
reaction?
Yeah.
yeah, no,
I feel like an experiment.
well, you're a
much.
great gauge for how the audience is feeling, because it's like, you know, kind of the overall perspective. Like
Yeah.
it's very beneficial.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm
Also,
glad.
I just wanted to point out, you did it again in this episode, Bailey. I thought it was so funny.
Oh, no.
Is when I was filming the vlog, last week's take.
Yeah.
Last week's shoot. There it is. Sorry. I was filming the vlog, and when everyone's kind of like, why it's bad for the voices, you know, Bailey's first thought then,
Oh my
she's like,
God.
well, what if it gets so loud we can't work? And everyone's like, and Matt was like, and I'm laughing at this point because I'm like, it's such an interesting for that to be like the first thought is like, it's could get really loud, you know? And
Like,
I'm like,
it would be distracting. That's
we
what she
work
said.
on anyway.
I literally thought, I was like,
What?
I can't even like, I thought it was just so fascinating how that's the first thing. I was like, oh, here is the first place she thought of this. It wasn't. She thought about it in this episode too. So I'm guessing
Wait,
something.
what do you mean? Oh, did I say that
You said it
in the
in
podcast?
this episode. No, and you said it in the episode that went live yesterday. You're like,
Yeah.
wow, this
Oh.
could, what if this gets really loud?
Oh yeah,
and, like,
but
we
I think
can't-
that last
and I was
time
like, oh, she's been sitting on this, like
I
she's
do
like thinking
think
about.
Yeah, I
this.
don't know why. My work is very important to me.
Yeah, she's like, but what if we cannot work because it gets so loud?
I love that the next step wouldn't be that like we would get a new office. It's like no, we have to stay here.
Yeah.
Like it would just be
We're
so
stuck
the
in
voices would just be
We have
so
to solve it.
distracting.
Just the
Like,
torture.
you know, it's like no, we would leave Bailey.
Yeah,
It's not
you
even
know-
like she's got a point. Like it could get louder and it could get bad. But I just
Yeah.
thought it was like, it's like, but how are we gonna work? And
Yeah.
I was like, love it. I was like, we could work.
Look at those views.
I just loved, and I loved discovering that. I was
Oh,
like,
man.
it wasn't just like then it spawned. It was like, no, she's actually thinking like from the
This has
beginning.
been
like,
bothering
this is
her.
here.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah, it's like,
brought
it's
this up
really-
before.
She's like,
You
this
know-
is sitting on my mind. I gotta figure this out.
Good
I
point.
think it's hard because like it's hard for me to put myself in that place of like, oh, the walls are really speaking to us. Like, what would I feel like if the walls were
Were
speaking
actually
to me?
speaking
Yeah,
to
and
us.
so like the realistic response for me is like, well, if it's loud, you can't work when things are loud.
It's gonna really freak out the other units. Yeah.
Yeah. But like realistically, I'm sure I just would stop coming.
I
you
would
know?
quit
I think
my
everybody
job
would
if
stop
it started,
coming.
the walls
Yeah.
started getting that.
A lot of us can do most of our work from home anyways.
Yeah.
I love that we're rationalizing. I just
Oh,
thought
yeah.
it was so
We have those noise canceling headphones too.
Yeah.
So that would work.
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
there you go.
easier said than done
Soundproof
until you
the
start
walls.
hearing it through there. It's like,
More insulation.
Yeah, aren't the voices in there though?
Yeah. Also a question like, why didn't we just open up the wall? You know.
I
Stick our head
it
in.
was curious, but
Well, maybe that's coming.
dun dun dun.
dun dun dun.
There's bodies on
do
the
you know?
walls. Wood.
The walls just say, "Open me and go to Moaning Mountain."
Okay.
Okay, Tanner. Hey guys,
That
thank you
sounded-
so much for
That sounded
listening.
terrible out of context.
But
but the
that.
context of the
Don't
show.
tell me you didn't know what you were saying.
I
Yeah.
actually
Oh,
was just
this
like
man.
wrapping it back up to the mountain.
Sure.
I swear
Oh
to you.
yeah, sure.
This is I run the. I have to. Fair enough. Touche. Samantha, wrap it up.
Thank you guys so much
down the
for
frisky fields.
watching and listening to this Behind 863 podcast. Appreciate all of you lovely people for being here. Like Tanner said in the beginning, let us know all of your thoughts about everything we said, specifically about that last little bit that Tanner just said. Let us know your thoughts about that in the comments.
I'm so sorry.
Tanner will look at them.
I'll have to
I
decide
promise.
whether or not I can even keep that in.
Oh, well,
We might.
Moaning Mountains.
Okay, thanks, Woods.
sure.
I'll meet you there.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Bye.
Bye.